What's your craziest one night stand story? NSFW. I had a one night stand and a BJ the morning after on a cruise ship. We were flirting up at the bar late one evening and went on a walk around the ship. We ended up going up the helipad at the front of the boat and started getting a little heavy. We went ahead and did the damn thing, only to realize after that the entire bridge crew could clearly see us effing at the front of the boat like a dirty Titanic reenactment. The next day she came by my cabin and we had a round two on the balcony of my cabin. I got blown while enjoying the view of the Caribbean Sea in the morning sunshine. It was pretty damn great. For me it'd have to be one from a few years ago. Ran into a girl I knew from college while out at a bar with some friends. One thing led to another and we ended up back at my place. Everything went fine until I wake up the next day and this girl had pissed herself in my bed. I got the F out of my own room and just sat stunned in my living room. Farmed out suggestions of what to do to a couple friends. Best suggestions were kick her out, burn your entire room, and leave and never go back. That's her apartment now. When I was in college I got a phone call from this girl I occasionally hung out with. She was in my college town with some friends and said they had a hotel room with 3 girls but there were only 2 guys. And would I like to come over? I did. Random match on Tinder led to love at first sight. The date went amazing. Ended back at her place. Then I eventually caught sight of a family photo and recognized her mom who I had had a very drunken, dirty one night stand with. Didn't know she was a mom of a beautiful girl my age or that she was married. Had to pass up what felt like could have been a long incredible relationship. Lost my virginity to a girl from high school that was exponentially out of my league. Now, this was back in the days of Yahoo Instant Messenger, right when external webcams became a thing. I'm online just minding my own business and this girl Hannah messages me out of the blue. It was like, she's on my friends list, but I'm not sure how because she's a solid 9 and I'm a geek in band. She messages me with the webcam and she's butt-ass naked. First, like, hell yeah, one of the hottest girls from school is naked on my computer. Alright. She's like, I'm horny. Can I come over? Okay. First off, you've never been here. Second off, this is me we're talking about. But sure, come on over. She rode me like a pogo stick. Holy hell. While it was completely amazing. Mainly because she's a solid 9. Remember, I was very confused for the longest time after the fact. That was 13 years ago and we've never spoken since. She got fat and has a couple kids. No longer a solid 9, but still a great first lay. I saw a guy at the bar, chatted him up, asked him to come home with me that night and he agreed. Wound up dating for 18 months, didn't speak for 6 years, got back together, now married 2 years together for 7. We like to say he's the one night stand that wouldn't go away. Swiped right on Tinder back in June, talked for a bit and hit it off. I brought Chinese and ice cream over to her place a couple days later. We stayed up until 1 or 2 in the morning just talking. Here we are 6 months later planning on moving in together in June after I close on my house. So my craziest one night stand is the one that ended up not being a one night stand at all. Girl from home was a little late moving down to college, so in her haste she moved into the new house and went for a night out with friends without meeting her housemates. Anyways, on the night out, she meets a guy and they hit it off. They go home together and do the deed. The next morning she wakes up in his room and goes to find a bathroom. When she's outside the bedroom she realizes she's actually in her new house. She starts freaking out because she had sex with this guy in her housemate's bed. She goes back into the room and in a panic explains the situation to the guy and tells him he needs to leave so she can clean up the room. The guy explains to her that it's his bedroom. In their drunken state neither of them seemed to notice that they were both bringing each other home TLDR. Girl ends up sleeping with a random guy who turns out to be her new housemate. I had a girl stop me mid-pump to get up and go home because she was hungry. My friend was in another room with a random girl and he didn't realize we could hear everything they said. My friend asked her if it was in yet. The effing guy asked if it was in yet. I brought When the ex and I had just broke up, we went our separate ways and I got with her younger cuter sister for a fun night. But she ended up having an adventure also. I heard she ended up with this guy who had a leaky faucet in his bathroom. I know this because she confessed to me coming over the day after to pick up some clothes, that she said she pissed the bed in some dude's house because he left his faucet going. Now she carries a backpack in her car filled with clothes just to be safe. Said the guy was real mad she pissed his bed, so she took something valuable from him when he wasn't paying attention. She thinks he still doesn't know she did it. I wonder if he will ever find out. The wet bandit strikes again. Doesn't have to do with the actual sex part of it, but there was a female that worked for me that really wanted to sleep with me. I told her that I would get in trouble if I slept with a coworker. She literally turned in her 2-week notice during her next shift. She proceeded to get a job at Subway across the street from where I worked, and one night after I got off work, she came over and we banged it out. It was very flattering that she would get a second W4 for that year just for me. Haha. Not me but my college roommate. He went to a party one night, got wasted, and brought back an equally wasted girl back for some fun times. We had paper thin walls in our apartment so I could usually hear everything, so I just popped in my earbuds and played some WoW. I hear screaming next and not the sex kind. Apparently not 30 seconds in, she threw up all over him and his bed. Odd part is they ended up dating a while later. Next to a bar, brought a guy home. I lit candles and set the mood. He starts to go downtown and knocks 3 candles over. Sets my blanket on fire. I had to throw his over the balcony. Never saw him again even when he tried to give me a new comforter. Met a chick at the pub. Went back to her place. Assumed she lived alone as we start banging with her bedroom door wide open. Turns out she had roommates who proceeded to show up one by one as we were banging. Just walking past the bedroom and saying hi. We both fell asleep afterwards. I woke up before her and found a guitar in her room and a pack of strings. So I re-strung her guitar and tuned it, then left before she woke up. Brought a girl back to mine on Christmas Eve. I woke up the next morning having not remembered she came home with me. My mum was blocking me in on the driveway too, so I had to wake her up to get her to move her car so I could take the stand home before her family were up for Christmas morning. I used to meet people on the elementary school playground next to my house for hookups. Well, after dark with no kids around. So I guess every time I met up with someone new there is tied for craziest. Lived in a big house. 7 people. It's college. Everyone is home over winter break. I am at the house alone all break. I come home one day and there is a girl on my couch watching TV. She says she is friends of one of the roommates and had permission to stay for the week. I take one look at her and say my bed is more comfortable than that couch. She stayed in my room that week. She has since married and divorced 2 of my friends. Strange. This group of people for a lighter at a strip club. This girl in the group, not a stripper, comes out to smoke with me. I'm wasted drunk. Next thing I know we are making out and we end up effing in the janitor's closet with the door slightly open. This one stripper saw us go at it and just closed the door. Weeks after my first kiss I met a gal in the McDonald's parking lot where us teens used to hang out at the time. She thought I was pretty funny. We went out that evening and grabbed food and went back to hers. She proceeded to take my virginity whilst her best friend stood guard in the living room in case her parents came home. They didn't. She started yelling and attempting to distract as I threw clothes on. I managed to get fully dressed in about 30 seconds and popped her laptop open to some Rick and Morty. Got away with it. Up with this girl who talked about her sister all the time while we were doing it. Apparently her sister's ex who she slept with after they broke up had the weirdest dick she had ever seen. Also her sister pissed some dude's bed on a one night stand. She was crazy hot though. Best comment of the day. I had a social studies teacher in high school who would always walk around and take student snacks. One time a buddy of mine had a pot brownie and the teacher walked up and put his hand on the kid's desk, then picked up the brownie and ate it in 3 bites. He then went back to his desk and about 15 minutes later he walked over to my buddy and asked if it was a pot brownie. He said if he said yes and he told anybody, both of them would get in a large amount of trouble. So my buddy said yes, in fact it was a pot brownie. Teacher then went back to his desk and said, class, we are watching a film today, and he put on Waterboy with Adam Sandler, and he soon fell asleep at his desk stoned out of his mind.